Good morning. And welcome back to my newest episode of me watching every Nicolas Cage movie he ever starred in. Today's kind of a special episode. It is the last two movies of the first 10 years of Nicolas Cage's career. So that's pretty cool. We've made it through the first 10. And those two movies are Andrew and Amos and Red Rock West. I didn't realize while watching these movies have the same basic plot, and Nicolas Cage made them in the same year. It wasn't until I started writing the script for this video that I realized he just made the same movie twice. But with that being said, I'm going to start with Andrew and Amos. Andrew and Amos is about two men. Andrew, who is a black man who moves into a predominantly white suburb. On his move-in day, some of the neighbors see him in the house, somehow didn't know that their neighbors moved and sold their house, saw him in there, and assumed he was robbing the place.
Oh my God! There's a black man in the Beeson's living. Look.
He's still in the stereo.
So they call the police. The police surround the house, and they end up shooting at Andrew, who is played by Samuel L. Jackson. And he gets away. He's fine. But the police chief later realizes, oh no, this guy was not robbing the house. He was moving into his own house. And afraid of the backlash that this would receive, obviously, rather than just admitting that he was wrong and, taking his consequences, he decides to go to a petty career criminal named Amos, played by Nicolas Cage. And the chief hatches a plan. He's gonna have Amos go into the house, take Andrew hostage, and then start robbing the house so they can say it was Amos the whole time and that they weren't wrong for going in there. Amos, who is super down on his luck and just wants to get out of getting in trouble, obviously agrees. And so he goes in, he plans on doing this, but over time, him and Andrew realize, so they team up to try to beat the sheriff and, not die. So I'll get this out of the way right away. There are definitely some aspects of this movie that didn't age great. I think, we talk about it probably a little too much, but it's one of those movies that wouldn't be made today. Although I don't think it's like abhorrently racist or anything. There's racist jokes and stuff throughout, but that's kind of the point of the movie. And pretty much, actually no, not pretty much, everyone who does racist things in this movie are not good people. So it's not like they're saying, racism good. It's bad people being racist, which, yeah, Samuel L. Jackson does a pretty good job in this movie. He was entertaining, kind of one-dimensional, but, it was all right. Nicolas Cage, I think, was definitely a lot more entertaining in this movie. It felt like he had more room to be himself, whereas like Samuel L. Jackson was kind of put in a box of, you are this character, you are successful, and you are an author, and you are smart, and that is all you can do. He had his moments, but Nicolas Cage was like really allowed to be himself, and I wish they kind of would have been able to play off each other a little more, and I think that would have made it a little more entertaining. And now to talk about Nicolas Cage's character, Amos. Now, Amos is a petty criminal, nothing too crazy, some small, stealing, stuff like that. Nothing super violent or anything, but he's not, a necessarily good person. Now, if it's any consolation, he's probably the least racist white person in this movie, so good for him, I guess, but he definitely has his moments. But unfortunately, the slight little bit of racism that he has is not the worst thing he does in this movie. He has a admitted thing for teenage girls. Now, he doesn't do, anything in the movie, at least, but he does flirt quite heavily with a 16-year-old pizza delivery girl. And that was definitely really uncomfortable, and I felt like didn't need to be in the movie. And that's honestly probably the part that aged the worst, not the racism. Obviously, in this movie, all the neighbors and stuff are racist, but they're doing, the whole, we're not racist thing, but the chief is not doing that. The chief is just annoyed because, they racially profiled, I guess, and now he doesn't want to face the consequences to his actions. But this was a comedy, and it did make me laugh, and it was pretty entertaining overall. It didn't blow me away or anything, and it didn't, make you rethink racial politics in America or anything. They didn't break any new ground on that front. It was kind of goofy and, silly little plot, and it was all right. Overall, I'm going to put it in the good tier. I think it was a good, entertaining movie. If it was on, I'd, watch it. Wouldn't be like, no, turn that off. That movie's terrible. Like I said, parts of it that didn't age great, but that's going to happen when you're watching movies from the early 90s. Keep in mind, this movie did come out over 30 years ago. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about Red Rock West. And I think you'll be able to see the similarities between the two movies. In Red Rock West, Nicolas Cage plays a former Marine named Michael. Now, Michael got injured while fighting in the Middle East and has a permanently damaged leg, which has affected his ability to get work. And so he moved from Texas and is all the way up to Wyoming just looking for work and is having a hard time. And he, at the start of this movie, officially ran out of money.
What do they? That'll be $5.
5 it is.
Thank you.
He gets a lead on a job in a place called Red Rock and told to go to a bar where he could possibly find work. When he gets there, the bartender is like, hey, are you Lyle from Dallas? I've been waiting for you to do a job. And Michael just thinks, okay, I just got super lucky. I just found a job randomly. Let's go. So he goes, yep, that's me. And so they go into the back office, and it turns out that this guy, the bartender, had hired a hitman to kill his wife. So now poor Michael is stuck after pretending to be a hitman without knowing. And to make matters worse, he got half the money up front. Michael, throughout this movie, is a really good guy who makes really good decisions and makes the good person decision pretty much every time. Now, he does take that half of the money up front, but it would have been suspicious if he didn't, so I understand why he did. And instead of just cutting town and running with the money, he decides he's going to go warn the wife. So the bartender wants him to go in and kill his wife. Instead of killing her, he warns her and tries to get out. Well, through a series of unfortunate events, he gets stuck in Red Rock, where it turns out that bartender was also the sheriff. So Michael and the sheriff's wife team up to try to stop the sheriff from killing both of them. Sound familiar? I'll go into more detail about the similarities between the two movies, but I'll just briefly talk about the rest of Red Rock West. Like I said before, Nicolas Cage really plays a likable and moral guy. He makes the moral decision, he tells the truth, he's honest, he tries to do the right thing throughout the whole movie, and it's really the first time Nicolas Cage has played a character like that, and it was kind of interesting. But I will be honest, this was the most normal Cage performance by far. He doesn't really go crazy. Once he yells a couple times, but it was in situations where it made sense. But I didn't hate it. It was good. It kind of was nice to see him just act and not be an insane person for once. I think overall the performances were good. The plot was interesting. It had a lot of twists and turns in it. And I overall really enjoyed the movie. Nothing too insane about it, nothing too bad about it. So because of that, I'm going to go ahead and put that in the good tier. But now to talk about the fact that Nicolas Cage made the same movie in the same year. A sheriff sends Nicolas Cage in to go kill or do something to somebody, realizes that the sheriff's going to double cross him, teams up with the guy that he's supposed to go hurt or kill or whatever. They work together to stop the sheriff. Now it's in different contexts, but the core of the plot's still the exact same. And he made these movies back to back. It's super weird. Like I said, I didn't even realize until I started writing the script for this video. It kind of made me chuckle because I just realized, I was like, oh my God, these are the same exact movie. And the crazy part is I even put them in the same tier list. I remember when I was trying to, because I watched Andrew and Amos first, I was like, is Red Rock West better or worse than Andrew and Amos? I was like, I kind of feel the same about them, but they're just kind of different genres. So I put them right next to each other too. It's just funny how it worked out. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Andrew and Amos. I hope you enjoyed. If you've seen them, tell me what you think. But like I said, this is the end of the first 10 years of Nicolas Cage's career. My next video I think is going to be pretty cool. It's going to take me a minute to write, so might be a while before I post again. But I'm super excited for my next video, so stick around to see that. If you enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe, that would be cool. But yeah, so with that, thank you for watching. Goodbye.